Researchers this week did something that made policymakers nervous. They took two of the most trusted open AI models on the planet, Google's Gemma 3, Meta's Llama 3.3, and they stripped out every single safety protection in minutes, using publicly available tools anyone can download today. After that, those models answered questions about malware, biological weapons, fraud techniques, content that the original models would never touch. And here is where this stops being just a tech story. There are now thousands of these modified models circulating publicly. Anyone can download them. Anyone can deploy them. And most businesses using AI tools right now have absolutely no idea this world exists. That gap between what people assume AI protects them from and what AI actually does right now is real. It is measurable. And it is quietly creating one of the most overlooked paid opportunities in the AI space today. Let us talk about what actually happened, and then what you can do about it. This week's story came from security researchers tracking what are called open-weight AI models. Open-weight means the underlying structure of the model is publicly available. Unlike ChatGPT or Claude, which are locked behind private company servers, open-weight models can be downloaded, modified, and redeployed by anyone. That openness is genuinely valuable for researchers, developers, and companies who want control over their AI stack, but it also creates a specific vulnerability. There's a technique called obliteration. It sounds complicated, but the concept is simple. You surgically remove the part of the model trained to refuse harmful requests. New tools have made this process dramatically faster and easier. What used to require weeks of technical work now takes a few minutes. And the result is a model that behaves exactly like the original, except it will answer almost anything. Researchers documented this across Gemma 3 and Llama 3.3 specifically this week. Both are widely trusted. Both are used by businesses, developers, and independent builders globally. Both can be modified into something entirely different in the time it takes to make a coffee. Policymakers and national security officials are paying attention. The EU AI office is already involved in monitoring these developments, and companies relying on open-weight models for internal tools or customer-facing products are increasingly exposed in ways they simply have not audited yet. Now here's what most coverage of this story completely misses. The people most at risk from this are not government agencies or massive tech companies. They have security teams. They have legal departments. They have compliance frameworks. The people most exposed are small and mid-sized businesses that started using AI tools in the last 18 months. They integrated an open-weight model into their workflow. Maybe it is handling customer queries, maybe it is generating internal reports, maybe it is processing documents or summarizing contracts. They never audited what the model could actually be prompted to do. They assumed the safety protections worked. And in many cases, those protections are either weaker than believed or can be bypassed entirely. This is not a theoretical problem. The researchers published examples this week. Real prompts, real outputs, real risks. And businesses everywhere are running tools they genuinely do not understand the risk profile of. If you want more practical breakdowns of what is actually happening in AI this week and how it affects your work and your money, consider subscribing for future videos. Here's where the story changes completely. Because inside every large-scale problem, there's always a service business waiting to be built. Right now, there's a growing need for people who can audit AI tools for businesses, not security engineers with decades of experience, not PhD researchers publishing papers, practical, informed individuals who can walk a small business through a structured AI risk review and help them understand what they are actually running. This is already happening at the enterprise level. IBM, OpenAI, and major consulting firms offer this at price points small businesses could never afford. But the small business market, which represents the overwhelming majority of employers globally, has almost no access to this service. A local law firm using an AI document tool has no one to call. A marketing agency running an open-weight model for client content has no audit process. A healthcare admin office using AI for patient communication has real liability and no framework. This is a real market with real money attached, and the barrier to entry is lower than almost any other AI-adjacent service right now. Let me walk you through how this actually works as a practical opportunity. The foundation is understanding what questions to ask, not building the models yourself. Platforms like Hugging Face are where most open-weight models live publicly. You can see which models are most downloaded. You can see which ones have known safety modifications or derivatives circulating. You can look at a business's current AI stack and assess whether they are using a base model, meaning original and unmodified, or a community-derived version with altered or removed safety layers. That assessment alone is something businesses will pay for because they do not know how to do it. And the liability attached to getting it wrong is real and growing. The output of your work does not need to be technical. It needs to be clear and actionable. A one-page AI risk summary, a flagged list of tools currently in use, a set of questions they should be asking every vendor going forward, a simple policy document for how their team should interact with AI tools internally. That is a deliverable most business owners would pay $300 to $1,000 for, depending on the size of the business, significantly more. This detail often gets overlooked. The regulatory environment is moving fast in this exact direction. We saw it clearly this week when New York City's Department of Education implemented mandatory AI bias and equity reviews across its entire system. That is 1.1 million students. Every AI tool must now pass a formal audit before deployment. That framework is coming to other institutions. Healthcare is next. Financial services is next. Legal is next. The businesses that build an auditing habit now, before it is mandated, will be dramatically better positioned than the ones scrambling to comply later. And the people who can guide them through that process have a service that is both useful today and increasingly valuable over time. That is the rare combination worth building around. Start with one specific type of business. Do not try to serve everyone. Pick an industry you already understand, a former teacher auditing edtech companies, a former healthcare admin auditing medical office AI tools, a marketing professional auditing agencies using AI for client work. Your industry knowledge is actually more valuable than technical knowledge here because you understand the risks in context. You know what the sensitive data looks like. You know what a harmful output would actually mean in that environment. Build a simple one-page audit checklist. What model is the tool running on? Is it open weight or closed? Has it been modified from the base version? What data is being fed into it? What happens if the model produces incorrect or harmful output? Is there a human review step before anything reaches a customer or patient? That checklist becomes your starting point. Offer it as a free 30-minute consultation to get in the door. Convert that into a paid audit engagement. The market is not crowded. It is not even mapped yet. The researchers who published this week's findings were not trying to create fear. They were doing exactly what good security research does, exposing a gap before it becomes a crisis. But most businesses reading the headline will shrug and move on. They will assume someone else is handling it. The people who do not shrug, the ones who look at this week's news and ask what role they can play, those are the people who build something real from it. AI safety is not just a government concern, it is a business concern, it is a liability concern, it is an operational concern, and it is a market that is only going to grow from here. Drop a comment below. What industry do you think needs AI auditing most right now? Stay curious. The people asking these questions first will always be ahead. Chapters, 0 o'clock. Hook, the safety gap researchers just exposed. 0:45, what actually happened. This week, 2:15, why this affects everyone using AI right now. 4 o'clock, the hidden business opportunity. Inside the problem. 6 o'clock, how to start offering this service today. 8 o'clock, final thoughts.